Welcome everybody, my name is Hector Rivas. In today's lesson, we are going to work with intermediate patterns and we're going to tweak those intermediate patterns. So let's get started. Let's open up Illustrator. And this is where we last left off, working with a plaid pattern. This time, let's work with a different character art. Let's continue here. I'm going to go to my desktop, and this time I'm going to work with Goofy. Let's grab this Goofy here. He looks fun and go lucky, so let's use him. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab Donald and move him to the side here. I'll paste Goofy, Command V to paste. Okay, so tweaking. Well, we had a plaid pattern. Let's make a quick plaid pattern here. So step one is a rectangle with a solid color. This time I'm going to work with the greens. And I'm going to copy, paste in front. And I'll do a lighter green and I'll make a smaller stripe. Copy, paste in front. Move it. I'm going to do a plaid, so I'm going to bring the same shape, but I'm going to bring it down to look like this. Okay. So in the last lesson, we learned how to play with opacity here. So I'm going to continue with that. If you click on any of these shapes, you can go up to opacity right here and reduce the opacity on it, which gives us the illusion of creating multiple shapes because that color gets lighter and so does everything that's underneath it. So it creates the illusion that there's two yellow rectangles here, when we know there's only one. And same here. I'm going to go ahead and play with that opacity. Now, most of you guys will have it up here, the opacity option on the top of your menu. If you do not see it, you can go up to Window and bring up Transparency. Window, Transparency. If you bring up transparency, it'll give you this little window. And just like any other window, you can rip it out and let it float around like a little island. Sometimes I like doing this because I like this tool to be near whatever I select. So I'm selecting this shape here. And you can see that I can modify it here. I can modify my opacity right here. Okay, so I'm going to do that for this shape and also this shape. Put that one a little lighter, just to whisper and not scream out division. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. And let's make it into a pattern and see what it looks like. So I'm going to select this tile, drag and drop it to my swatch library, so you can see that it lives here in my swatch library now. And I'm going to fill his Goofy sweater. Now, when I select Goofy with the black arrow, he is grouped. So I'm going to ungroup him first, which you know the shortcut, Command, Shift, G. And that ungroups him So now I can select individual shapes. And I'll fill it with that tile that we just made. And now I'm going to transform it. So I'm going to scale it by double-clicking on the scale tool, which you know the scale tool looks like this. And I'm going to reduce it by 98%, the pattern and not the object. Just the pattern and not the object. I'll press OK. And then Command D to duplicate transformation. Okay, let's say he's going golfing and then this is his golfing sweater. So I'm going to rotate it now to do another transformation, which you guys know how to do. Double click on the rotate tool. Rotate it by 10 degrees. It's okay. And just the pattern, not the object, just the pattern. Command D to duplicate. That's about right. And then I'm going to fill the sleeves with that green plaid pattern that I just made. And these folds, you see how he has a fold on his sweater? Instead of filling it with a plaid, I'm going to fill it with a color from the plaid just so it looks a little more elegant. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool to select this lime green on the right hand side right here. And I'll fill it with that lime green like so. See, that's a nicer looking sweater. And it kind of matches his hat. So that looks pretty cool. Well, you know, let's see what it looks like with a plaid, just out of curiosity. Yeah, I guess we could bring a little bit of the plaid up here. I think that might be too much. How about if we do it like this? I think I like it this way better. And it's consistent that the folds are the lime green. So I'll do that. And the bottom, his pants, just for the sake of making it look neat, I'm gonna go to the darker green here. But the inside of his pant maybe go lighter. All right, so this is his golfing outfit. All right, so the next thing that I want to show you on tweaking these plaid patterns is that I can select this whole tile and bring up our friend Pathfinder that we've covered in a previous lesson. So we can combine skill sets. So this is Pathfinder now. I'm going to click on Pathfinder, which gives us this tool set. I'm going to select it all, and then I'm going to say trim or divide, actually, right here. I'm going to click on divide. And so now all of these shapes are individual shapes, so I can change the color of them. So look, I can say that one goes that color. And I can make the artwork a little bit more complex in that case. Like maybe I'll do something like this. You see, they're all separate shapes because I use Pathfinder. See, they're all individual rectangles. But because I trimmed them where none of the geometry goes outside the border, it creates a perfect rectangle. And I can do this type of coloring. So let's see what it looks like now on Goofy. this more complex tweaked plaid pattern. I'm going to take this tile, bring it into the swatch library that now makes it a pattern. It's here. And now I'm going to color with them. So I'm going to go to Goofy, and I'm going to select this shape, and I'll fill it with the plaid pattern that's a little bit more psychedelic. I think it's a little too much, but it's different. You see, it gave it a different look. I don't know, to me, it feels a little bit more of a modern plaid pattern than the previous one that felt like more traditional. So that is another way of tweaking your patterns to give it a more distinguished look. That's the end of this lesson. Thank you for watching.